Finally, we are done with our Module 2, wherein sa Module 2 natin, nagkaroon tayo ng clear understanding kung ano nga ba ang language ng mathematics. And I hope na nag-gain kayo ng skill or kung hindi man, at least or kung hindi man, nag-improve yung skill ninyo kung paano mag-translate ng mathematical sentences into mathematical symbols. Why? Kasi kung hindi nag-improve yung inyong skill kung paano mag-translate, hindi ka magiging better problem solver, which is related sa ating topic dito sa ating module 3. So, in order for us to become a problem solver, it is important na meron tayong skill or na-improve yung skill natin on how to translate mathematical sentences into symbols. So, in this module, our last module na coverage ng ating preliminaries, ang main focus natin dito is on how to solve a problem in a systematic manner. Systematic manner meaning to say, meron tayong uh, susundin na way, merong pattern, merong steps para makapag-solve tayo ng isang problem. Okay? So, our learning outcomes after finishing this module is that you are expected to discuss ways to solve problems. Second is to solve problems using inductive and deductive reasoning. And third is to solve problems using Polya's strategy. So these are just the parts ng ating module 3 na magfo-focus tayo. So after ng module 3, yay, it's time for a preliminary examination. So ano nga ba ang kailangan nating malaman, no? A mathematical problem is a situation that you may confront for which the method and solution is not immediately known to you. Di ba? Totoo naman ito. And even me, inaamin ko na I hate problem solving. Especially kapag medyo, pa-sentence lahat nung tanong dun sa problem solving. Parang ang hirap niyang i-decode kung paano mo sisimulan at sasagutan yung problem na yon. So, in this first part of our discussion, meron tayong pag-usapan natin yung at ano ba yung mga ways na pwede nating different ways para makapag-come up tayo ng mga solution doon sa problem na yan. So, i-ready natin, dapat meron tayong good comprehension and good reasoning para makapag come up tayo ng solution sa mga problem. I am not telling na good reasoning is yung yung pilosopo na pagrarason. But yung good reasoning na pagrarason, yung related naman sa problem, okay? So, let's start by describing kung ano yung dalawang processes para uh, makapag-reach tayo ng conclusion natin. And yung dalawang reasoning na yan ay tinatawag nating inductive and deductive reasoning. So, let's start with inductive reasoning. Okay, when we say inductive reasoning, the type of reasoning that comes up to a conclusion by examining specific examples is called inductive reasoning. So, inductive reasoning is, ito yung specific to general natin, no? A conclusion that is made by applying inductive reasoning is called a conjecture. Conjectures may or may not be true. So, i-relate natin ang inductive reasoning sa pagiging marites. Okay? Nagkwento si Kumare ng specific na pangyayari sa anak niya or sa barkada ng anak niya. I'm sorry. Let's say, nagkwento itong nanay sa kumare niya. Okay? Nang tungkol sa sa kaibigan ng anak niya. Okay? Specific yung kwento niya, yung isang kaibigan lang ng anak niya na kesyo lasinggero, kesyo ang tawag dito, kesyo lasinggero yung kaibigan ng anak niya, lagi na lang silang lumalabas. Okay, and that yung pagkukuwento niyang yan, nag-generalize siya, nag-conclude siya na lahat na ng kaibigan ng kanyang anak ay ganun lang pag-uugali. Okay? Nag-conclude siya. At yung conclusion niyang yun ay tinatawag nating conjecture. Yung conjecture niya na yun, pwedeng totoo at pwede rin namang hindi. Okay? So, from specific to general, that is inductive reasoning. Okay. Another example of this type of reasoning is applied kapag gusto nating malaman or gusto nating hanapin yung next number sa list of numbers na merong pattern. Okay, ito yung pinakamadali sa lahat sa inductive reasoning. So, kung gusto mong malaman, ay pinapahanap sa'yo ano ba yung mga susunod na numbers sa pattern natin na yan, yung gagamitin mong method ngayon ay inductive reasoning yon. We use inductive reasoning para ma-predict natin yung next number na susunod kay 11 and kung ano pa yung mga susunod na numbers dyan. Okay, so how are we going to predict now kung ano yung susunod na number dyan? Okay, all we need to do, hindi ba, parang nag-investigate muna tayo. Tinitignan natin, baka mamaya pag pinag-plus lang natin to lalabas yung pangatlo. Which is hindi naman, kasi 3 plus 1 is 4, and hindi naman 4 yung sumunod, yung pangatlong number. Therefore, subukan naman nating mag-subtract. Okay? Kapag mga pattern sequences ng numbers, it's either addition or subtraction or multiplication lang yung pattern nun. Okay? So, let's try na mag-subtract. Let's try. Yan. Okay. 3 minus 2 is, 3 minus 1, I should say, is 2. Kapag sinubtract naman natin ang 6 plus 3 ay 3. Sinubtract natin ng 8 at 6, it is 2. 11 and 8, kapag sinubtract naman natin, again, that is 3. So, therefore, meron ka nang makikitang meron ka nang makikita na pattern kung paano ba yung sequence nung pagkakasunod-sunod ng number na to. So we can now predict kung ano ba yung susunod na number kay 11. So since yung nakuha nating difference ng bawat numbers na yan ay 2, 3, 2, 3, therefore we conjecture na yung susunod na difference ulit dito ay 2, right? Kasi 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Therefore, let's add 11 plus 2, that is 13. And 13 is the next number after number 11. And so, para mas malaman pa natin yung susunod na number dyan, same pattern, we use the same method, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Malamang yung susunod na difference ulit dyan ay 3 kasi yung nakikita mo na yung pattern. And so, from that, 13 plus 3 will become 16. And that's how we use inductive reasoning para ma-predict natin ano ba yung mga susunod na numbers dito sa ating list of numbers na given, dito sa ating example number 1. Okay? Okay, so let's have another example number 2. Okay, dito nakalimutan ko. We have specific na mga numbers. We have specific na mga nakuhang difference. So, from that specific na given, nag-generalize tayo na kapag tinuloy-tuloy natin tong difference na to, makukuha natin yung bawat number. Generalize natin na tuloy-tuloy yung pattern natin na 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay? So, ganun ang inductive reasoning natin. Now, example number 2. Let's use again the inductive reasoning para to make a conjecture. So, let's perform the following steps. Okay? So, let's pick a number. Multiply it by 4, add 6 to the product, divide the sum by 2, and subtract by 3. Okay, this time, I want you to do it on your own, given na yung number. Ito, let's say, pick a number. Ito na yung na-pick na number 5. Si 5 muna ang isipin ninyo. Kay si 5, ang given, mag-multiply ka ng 4. After mong mag-multiply ng 4 kay 5, mag-add ka naman ng 6 dun sa product. Tsaka ka mag-divide ng 2, and then mag-minus ka ng 3. So, ano ang magiging result mo? Ilista mo kung ano yung magiging result kapag yung number na pinili mo ay 5. Okay? Ganon din na gawin sa 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So, ano yung mga result ng mga numbers na ito? Please comment it sa ating comment section, and yun yung magsisilbing attendance ninyo for this discussion. But don't forget, of course, don't forget to mention your name, section, and yung result, yung sagot nyo na dito sa result ng pinapagawa ko dito sa example number 2. Okay? Let's see kung talagang nanonood kayo. So, kung wala kayong mga sagot na nakalagay, wala kayong attendance. Ang titignan ko yung may nakalagay na sagot. Even though you mention na, even though nag-comment ka ng year and name and section mo, kung wala yung mga itong pinapagawa ko, hindi ko consider yan as your attendance. Okay? So, tingnan natin kung ano yung magiging kalabasan. So, i-skip ko na tong example number 2. You just try it kung ano yung magiging kalalabasan ng mga numbers na yan kapag ginamit natin ang inductive reasoning. Ano ba yung mga numbers na lalabas dyan? Is it even numbers or odd numbers? Or is it twice the original number? Something like that. Okay, so dito tayo ngayon sa example number 3. Now, still we're using inductive reasoning sa pagsagot. So, let us consider the polynomial. We have polynomial n squared plus 19n minus 19, where n is a counting number. If we conjecture on the results for n greater than or equal to 2, we first check on several values of n. So, kung ang value daw natin ng n ay greater than or equal to 2, ano ngayon ang value ng ating polynomial? Okay? So, isa-isahin natin. Kapag 2 ang n natin, that is 2 squared plus 19 times 2 minus 19. That is, okay, 2 squared ay 4. 19 times 2, 38. Okay, that is 23. Pag ang n naman natin ay 3, magiging 3 squared plus 19 times 3 minus 19 is equal to 47. Kapag 4 naman, that is 4 squared plus 19 times 4 minus 19. Ang magiging sagot ay 73. Okay, followed by 5, 6, and 7 na value ng ating n, magkakaroon tayo ng mga sagot na 101, 131, and 163. So, ano ngayon ang mapapansin natin dito sa mga nakuha nating sagot? Kapag ang values ng n natin ay 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay? Kung mapapansin ninyo, lahat ng ating mga nakuhang sagot ay actually member or sila ay prime numbers. Okay? Thus, since prime numbers yung mga nakuha natin na sagot, we can conjecture na for n greater than or equal to 2, if n is greater than or equal to 2, then yung sagot sa polynomial natin na n squared plus 19n minus 19 is always a prime number. Kasi prime numbers na yung mga nakuha nating sagot. Okay? O, pwede nating i-test pa yung ating conjecture. So, kung gusto pa nating i-check yan, pwede pa nating i-solve ang 8. Kapag 8 naman ang ating n, or 9, 10, 11, and 12, still, mga prime numbers pa rin ang makukuha nating mga sagot dyan. Okay? But, ito muna tayo. A statement is true if it is true for all cases. Kung sa lahat ng cases ay true yung ating statement, then the statement is true. If you can find one case, kahit isang, hindi case ng, hindi case ng Coke or one case ng Red Horse o kung ano pang case dyan ng mga debote. Isang case na yung statement natin ay hindi makakapag-satisfy or hindi magiging false yung ating statement, then it is considered a false statement. Kahit pa ang napakadaming nagsasabi na true yung statement, tapos may kahit iisa lang na hindi true, hindi true yung statement, still considered pa rin yan as false statement. The instance for which the statement becomes false is called counterexample. Let us say na dun sa statement natin, nakapagpatunay tayo ng 25 na beses na true yung ating statement. But here comes isang case lang na false yung hindi tumugma yung sagot natin at naging false yung statement natin. Therefore, still, yung statement natin na yan ay still false statement. And yung isang yon na that makes the statement not true, yan ang tinatawag natin na counterexample. Okay? So, balikan natin yung example natin kanina. For all cases, kapag ang n natin ay 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, still, yung conjecture natin na prime numbers, yung mga sagot natin, ay true. But, here comes kapag ang n natin ay 19. Kapag ang n natin ay 19, ang makukuha nating sagot ay 703. And 703 is not a prime number. Why? Kasi ang 703 has a product of 19 and 37. Therefore, this is not a prime number. So meron tayong kahit pa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cases na yung makakapagsabing true yung ating conjecture. When it comes 19 na iisa niya, naging false statement ngayon yung ating polynomial, yung ating result na if n is greater than or equal to 2, then the polynomial, the answer is a prime number. It is already a false statement na kasi dahil kapag ang n natin ay 19, mali na yung conjecture natin na prime numbers lahat ng sagot. Okay? This makes us conclude na yung ating conjecture is incorrect. That is why, kasi na yung kanina, sabi dito sa inductive reasoning natin, conjectures may or may not be correct. It could be always true, but sometimes it is not correct. But still, meron tayong conjecture. Nag-conjecture tayo using inductive reasoning. Okay? So, now, itong 19 na ito, itong 19 na ito na nakapag, case na, itong 19 na ito na nakapag false statement, naging false statement tayo, ito ngayon yung, anong tawag natin ulit dito? Yung ating counter example. Okay, that is now our counter example. Kasi siya yung hindi makakapag-true nung ating statement. Okay. Now, another example is that if ang n natin ay integer, then the absolute value of n is greater than 0. Okay, let's see. By using inductive reasoning, let us see kung tama ba ito or hindi. Or hanapan natin ng baka merong counter example. Okay? Sabi niya ay n is an integer. Ano ba yung mga integers natin? Ha? Okay, let us see. Since, di ba, ang 0 naman ay also an integer. Right? 0 is an integer. So, we let n is equal to 0. Now, sabi niya, then, the absolute value of n is greater than 0. Okay, absolute value daw ng n is greater than 0. Okay, what if ang 0 natin ay integer? Ang 0 ay integer. Paano kapag ang n natin ay 0? Nilagay natin sa 0 sa absolute value. Is it still greater than 0? No, this is not greater than 0 is equal to 0, but 0 is not greater than 0. Therefore, meron tayong counter example. But for other cases, let's say 1, the absolute value of 1 is greater than 0, that is correct. The absolute value of 2 greater than 0, that is correct. But if the case is 0, kapag 0, 0 ay integer pa rin naman. So, hindi na siya masasatisfy na n is greater than 0. Therefore, ang 0 natin ngayon will be the counter example nung ating statement. Okay? Okay, so that's it for inductive reasoning. Now, let's move on sa ating deductive reasoning. Ano naman ang deductive reasoning? Okay, so let us continue. Cut natin ang discussion. Continue our discussion sa susunod na video.